All right, have we got enough chairs? I think everyone's pretty good. Bo, are you able to turn the music down just there? You're just on the black thing in front of you? Yeah. Let's turn it right down. Thanks. Thank you. Welcome everybody to Open Mic Night number 115. My name is Kev Howlett and I own Busybird and run it. And Leslie Gamanis, my publications manager, will be your MC tonight. So, nice big turnout. I think we've got about 19 readers, so it's going to be a lot. So, and Liz is going to ask me how long. If we do 4 minutes, it's 72 minutes, so it's just over an hour. I think we can probably just squeeze that. So we'll do 4. If you can keep it under that, that would be nice. This is our second last one for the year. So next Open Mic Night in November is usually our Open Mic Night / Christmas party. So we will be doing something a little bit bigger and special for that night. I know we've had a discussion the last couple of months about what theme, because normally we have a dress up and a bit of a party and prizes for best dressed and all that kind of stuff. And Kylie's going to be really angry, but I still can't think of what to do. I know, what was your idea again? It was like heroes, something.
Idols, rock stars, superheroes, and legends.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone like that?
Yeah.
How about IFL?
What's that?
What was that?
So what was it again?
Aussie rules. They're legends. They're included. Idols, rock stars,
rock stars, legends, anything like that you feel like you would like to show. We'll have a good prize for the best dressed. So we'll promote it. We'll put it on all the socials and stuff. So you'll have a bit of time to think about it. But if you can dress up in that, it'll be a bit of fun. So I'm not going to hang around too long because we've got a lot of readers. So please sit back and enjoy. And don't run away after and eat all my food. Thanks.
Hey, my name's Les. The way you put your name down on the list is not the way it's going to be read. It will be randomised, just so we do get a jumble of poetry and prose and all that sort of stuff. Abby, can you reach across to your right and go for the bell? Maybe earlier than 3 minutes 30. At 3 minutes 30, you'll hear...
She's serious tonight.
Bo, let's start this again. At 3 minutes 30, you'll hear... So that means you got 30 seconds left. And then at 4 minutes, you'll hear... Now, that doesn't mean you have to stop right there and then. Feel free to finish a sentence, the paragraph, but please don't feel, you can go on for another 2 pages. At 4 minutes 30, you'll get this. And Bo he's merciless, so he'll keep doing it. As Kev said, we've got a lot of readers tonight. I mean, it would be great if we could just give people as much time as they needed, but, we'll be here until midnight. And out of respect for everyone, sort of please honour the time. I'm going to start with russellboyle.com, who's reading poetry, and the title is Triptych. Everyone, please welcome, first time here, to Busybird's Open Mic Night, Russell.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. A Triptych by russellboyle.com. WYSIWYG, WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG, WYSIWYG. But it's often not what you want. It is often not what you want. WYSIWYG, WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG, WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, but it's often not what you want. and it's rarely what you need. Wizzy way. She helps me to explore my sensuality. She does not stop until I reach heaven. She never tires of my touch. She is gentle, attentive, loyal and obedient. She is my hallelujah. She is my hallelujah. A moment separates adulation from abuse, beatitude from bail, compliment from criticism, delight from despair, euphoria from ennui, felicity from fury, glee from gold, humility from hubris, imperturbability from impatience, jollity from Jeremiah, kindness from knavishness, love from loathing, mercy from malice, nirvana from neurosis, obeisance from opprobrium, pleasure from pain, quietude from querulousness, respect from revilement, sagacity from stupidity, tranquility from tirade, understanding from umbrage, veneration from vituperation, whimsy from wine, xenophiles from xenophobia, yearning from yammer, zestfulness from zealotry, enjoy the moment. As a moment separates life from death, a moment separates life from death. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. .com. SurishaBall.com, you have a website that people can visit?
RussellBoyle.com.
Yep. And what do you got there? Your poems and...
I've got over 205 published poems plus 5 anthologies.
Ah, cool. Well done. You know, I'm going to pick on you, Andrew, because a couple of months ago you were telling your stroke story and you left us all hanging while you selfishly went to Japan. So I'm calling you up. So everyone, please welcome Andrew.
Try and get it out. Okay, this is the second episode of The Stroke. This one has had a few errors, but the story of how I was found at home and brought to hospital is more or less there. So I'll start anyway. At about 6 or half 6 in the morning, my son, who was 9 at the time, came into the bedroom where I was while he slept with his mum in the other room. He knew this room well, as it was his room. He was looking for something in the room. I'm not sure if he saw me as he left the room quickly, finding the plushy animal he was looking for, and was taking it back to sleep some more. About 10 minutes later, he came in again. I think this time was to check that I was actually awake, something that he thought I was asleep, but he thought he'd better check. He looked at me and said, "Morning, Dad." I tried to answer him normally, but the speech must have been hard to understand, as the right side of my face had fallen with the stroke, and one half of my mouth was covering the lower teeth, making it hard for me to make the usual sounds. Of course, everything sounded perfect. Who also looked concerned and was quick deciding what was the best hospital to take me to. She decided the Royal Hospital, Melbourne. I guess at this stage I was drifting off, and although I remember the paramedic woman, I forgot. I had no recollection of the other paramedic or the trolley used to take me to the ambulance. I remember being in the ambulance and seeing colours, greys and some blasts of early sunlight. I also remembered in the hospital someone asking me if it was okay to take whatever it was, which I really felt wasn't the brightest question. I was told several months later that I had a stent inserted in the upper left side of my skull at around about 1 o'clock. I was also told that my son had with work people. And that's it.
Thank you, Andrew. How's Japan?
Brilliant.
Brilliant?
Fantastic.
Oh, cool. Bet you didn't want to come back. And you probably wouldn't if it was, if you had to come see me. Eugenia, you got a short story called Joyride. You ready to go, or would you like me to buy them? All right, everyone, please welcome Eugenia.
Blue and red lights flashed in the rear view mirror, siren wailing urgently into the night, adrenaline pumping through his veins. Chad whooped out loud with delight as he pressed his foot down on the accelerator. One hand was on the steering wheel, the other was skillfully manipulating his mobile as he live-streamed his epic getaway. The flashing lights retreated into the darkness, the police interceptor unable to keep up with a chase. The battery on Chad's phone was almost drained, but it was worth it. Chad smiled as he imagined the looks on the faces of his crew when they saw the footage. Earlier that night, head down, hoodie hiding his face, Chad had been scoping a bougie neighbourhood when he noticed a sleek, light grey silhouette of an EV parked in the shadows. On the road near the driver's side, something gleamed in the moonlight, drawing his attention. The key. How careless of the owner. No sooner was it in Chad's hand when he heard a click. The car was unlocked. Chad got in. The dashboard lit up invitingly, allowing him to quickly locate the ignition button. One push and the car purred into life. Ignoring the seatbelt warning chime, he slid the gears into drive and glided silently onto the road. He kept the headlights off until he was out of the suburban streets, heading for the freeway. He was easily doing 180 k's and wouldn't respond. Chad's mouth was suddenly dry. He had a sick feeling in the pit of his stomach. His heart began to thump, this time in fear. He frantically tried to gain control of the car, but it hurtled at top speed into the night. In a panic, he tried the doors, stupidly thinking that he might be able to jump out. They were locked. He tried kicking them. Nothing. He tried kicking the windows, the windscreen. He only wore himself out. Desperate, there was no other choice but to call for help. His phone battery was at 1%. He dialed 000. The battery went down to 0% and the phone cut out. How was this happening? Sweat poured down Chad's face. He was trembling. He was nearly hyperventilating. This was a fear he had never felt before. Tears began to sting his eyes. He fought the urge to cry. Babies cry, men don't cry. The car drove on. It felt like he'd been on the road for hours. There were no street lights, no signs of houses, nothing. The headlights allowed him a vague glimpse of trees. In the distance he could see some shapes bounding across the road. Kangaroos. The car was heading straight for them. It was going to smash into them. Chad screamed and braced himself for the impact, covering his face with his arms, trying not to piss himself. He felt the car suddenly swerve. The road felt different, unsealed. The car had turned off onto a dirt road, into a forest. Dappled grey light filtered through the trees. Deeper and deeper into the woods, the car kept going down the track. The car began to slow down. Chad tensed up. It came to a stop. He heard a click as the doors unlocked. Without hesitation, he sprang into action, wrenching open the door and jumping out. Chad bolted. The car door snapped shut behind him. Then silently, the car drove away. Oblivious of the car's departure, Chad ran into the forest, blindly smashing through the undergrowth, leaping, stumbling. Branches tore at his clothes and scratched his face. He tripped over fallen logs, scraping his knees. He got up, kept running. He ran until he had no breath left in him. Gasping, panting, he leaned against a tree. His heart felt as if it was going to burst out of his chest. Pale light brought the surroundings into focus. He looked around frantically, trying to get his bearings. He was deep in the forest. No paths, no tracks, no roads, no houses, nothing but trees. He was lost and alone. Pink streaks graced the clear blue sky, heralding the dawn. The chill morning air blowing against the wet patch in his pants made him shiver. Broken, Chad could no longer hold back his tears. Nearby, as if to mock him, a kookaburra laughed.
These your glasses?
Yeah.
Big deal.
That would be mine. Oh, I can see.
So when are you doing your collection?
I wanted to do more story. I've got 9.
All right, cool. By the way, Kev is filming all this, and he'll later edit it together and put highlights up on YouTube. So if anybody doesn't want to be part of that, for whatever reason, just please let Kev know. Michelle, you got an update on Uncle Ted? Everyone please welcome Michelle Burke.
We are going in order. How are we all? Good? Excellent. Last month, it's not even a month from last month, I mentioned my great uncle Ted, who is a famous poet, and he's Edward Philip Harrington. My name is Harrington. And from then, Les said, contact me. I contacted him. We sorted out copyright. And in the interim, I was able to get 3 of his books. I had 1. I was able to get 2 PDFs on the National Library. I'm waiting on another 2. And what happened was then I contacted somebody who was an enthusiast of Uncle Ted's. And then I was put on to somebody else who runs the Banjo Patterson Museum in Orange or Bathurst, called Alf. And Alf has actually gifted me all his works of Uncle Ted's. The miracles keep coming, and Uncle Ted is beside me going, come on girl, you can do this. Because I want to honour his memory. So in the interim, I contacted another person who's actually sending me some more of Uncle Ted's works, because he's got a lot of works. And because he wrote musicals, he wrote lyrics for songs and quite a lot, plus his own 5 books. And so he's sending me some stuff as well, with a recording of Uncle Ted, who had an interview with a journalist back in the day. So so Uncle Ted was born in 1890 something or other, 95, and he died in 1966. So I'm doing this because he's sitting in at Faulkner in a pauper's grave and should be honoured the way he should be. Yeah. So I've got 2 poems of his, and while I was introduced to Uncle Ted when I was at school, so with one of his poems, and I went home that night and I said to Dad, Dad, is this Uncle Ted Harrington, you know this Ted Harrington. That's it. Uncle. The book is coming.
Thank you, Michelle. So obviously everyone knows Kevin, me, and Oscar at Busybird, but like a really big part of Busybird are the interns. We get a lot of very intelligent, talented interns, and we always sort of say, hey, why don't you read it over mic night? And a lot of them are horrified, but I'd like to call one up tonight, and it's Jules. Of course, I'm kidding. Abby. Our latest intern is Mia. Please welcome Mia.
Hi guys, it's so nice to meet you all. Okay, this is just an excerpt from a book that I've written called The Glass Ballerina, so this is like towards the end of it. As she walked towards the stage wings, she could feel the collective heartbeat of the dancers, the technicians, the audience waiting just beyond the curtain. Her feet carried her with mechanical precision, but inside she was nothing more than a raw nerve, exposed and trembling. Every step felt like it was taking her farther away from herself, yet she couldn't stop. She had come this far, and there was no turning back now. She wondered if anyone in that audience was even there to see her, but it didn't really matter. When she reached the edge of the stage, Miss May was already there watching her with cold, unblinking eyes. She took one look at Ava, and then without a word, nodded her head towards the stage. Ava stepped forward, the thick velvet curtains swishing as they brushed past her. The stage loomed ahead, bathed in soft golden light. And then the music began. The unmistakable melody that had been ringing on an infinite loop in her head for weeks. The group routine had begun, and in that moment Ava felt she was part of something bigger than herself. Her movements flowed seamlessly, each step, each turn, carefully choreographed to create something beautiful, something transcendent. The other dancers moved around her effortlessly, and Ava was no different. Every beat, every note guided her like a beacon, and she let herself get lost in it. As the routine progressed, Ava's movements became sharper, more defined. The crowd's eyes were only on her, the weight of the moment pressing down on her shoulders like a mantle she'd been born to wear. The first few moments were her body flowing through the routine as if it knew what to do without her, the steps she'd rehearsed over and over, the choreography that had become ingrained in her body. The floor beneath her feet was smooth, somewhere beyond the sweat and pain and the aching pull of her muscles. Then came the solo. Her heart skipped a beat as she took her first step forward towards the center of the stage. Her pirouettes came next. She spun once, twice, and a third time, her eyes focused on the point ahead. Then something changed. It was subtle at first, just a flicker at the edge of her perception. Something in her body felt different. There was a slight shift in the air, a strange weightlessness. Her body continued to spin, her feet gripping the floor in perfect synchrony. But as she spun once more, she saw it. A faint shimmer, a flicker of light that seemed to emanate from her limbs, from her chest, and from her core. Was everyone else seeing this? But no one had. The shimmer continued to grow, not just around her skin, but through it. The sensation was carved from the very stone of her ambition. The last note of the music echoed through the hall, hanging in the air like a breath held just a moment too long. The audience too held its breath, the light glinting off the sheen of sweat that clung to her skin, every second of exertion now concealed beneath the mask of grace. And then, finally, they clapped. The audience grew like a wave swelling from the depths until it crashed over her with such intensity that Ava felt in her bones, in the hollow places inside her that she'd spent so many years filling with nothing but cruel demands. As for the audience, they saw what they wanted to see. The image she had worked so hard to craft was now before them. They didn't see the struggle or the cracks, the deep, jagged fractures that had been there all along but were now visible. No one saw the texture of her skin change, the way the world around her had shifted, the way her breath had become shallow and disconnected. Ava had gotten everything she'd ever wanted, the spotlight, the applause, the adoration, the validation that she was the one to be worshipped. A single tear slid down her cheek and into her smile, and no one noticed because they weren't really looking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. It was very literary. I'm going to mix things up. Paul.
You never do that. No.
Yeah, want me to do it? Would you rather come in later? I can bring you later in if you prefer. Just sort of mix it up for a change. Let's do something different. Everyone, please welcome Paul.
That's my name, all right. It's true, I can't deny it. Okay. Can I be honest? I think you're beautiful. I like your pants. Will you go out with me? I have a low libido. I'm old and ugly, so just reject me and we'll move on. It would be a relief, actually. We may even become friends. But you are beautiful, and I love your flares for some reason. So if you're attracted to me, maybe we could go somewhere, see a shitty movie, kiss outside a trendy bookstore. I've sworn off relationships. I can't even take care of myself, but your face makes a compelling argument. I'm fighting with myself. Come here, go away. That's why I fled the other night. Your eyes were terrifying. This one's called Jetsam, and it's got a quote, "In the midst of life we are in death." I don't know if anyone knows that one. It's a great quote from the Book of Common Prayer. Shoes wash up on a beach. It's not common, but it happens. There are all kinds of shoes. Runners, work shoes, boots covered in paint, and inside each one is a foot. I say this across the table at my uncle's 95th birthday. They finally figured out, I say, eating a chicken wing, that the feet came from suicides. People had jumped off a bridge and slowly drifted out to sea. The fish ate the body until all that was left was a foot in a shoe. My brother-in-law blushes and looks down at his plate. Nobody says anything. I guess I've got a morbid personality, I say. I've walked across bridges and stopped to look over the edge. The river is so far and near, it makes me dizzy just thinking about it. Still, I find this is a turd I've been polishing up. It's called Broken Up. Boy, can I polish a turd. Broken Up. Now that your life has been devastated, there's nothing to stop you. You're free. You can rescue baby possums if you want. Talk to them, or to yourself. It's okay, nobody cares. You could take up karate or torturing bonsai, whatever gets you through. Try Netflix. In fact, get the whole bundle. They've got plenty of comfort food, Pleasantville, Groundhog Day, whatever you need. You can pinch a bargain prostitute. Circle the beat a few times as if you're meant to be somewhere. Come on, it's time to make a start. Pick your way through the cemetery of your dreams and head down to the nearest single unit flat. Float on a flotsam of opened and unopened boxes, no arrows to indicate which way is up. This is a 35-second one. Hopefully I've got long enough. This is one I've read here before, and I feel like an apologist for it. I was in a very bad place in my life, and I had nothing in my life. No friends, no family. And all I had was my pet rats. So anyway, this is called Terminus. When I saw you stumble for the first time, I began to understand the stations of the cross. But at Footscray Station, on the way to the vets, when the V-line blew its horn, and you stopped breathing, and I stared at you, upturned and shining like a crescent moon. For a moment, I saw heaven and hell hold hands, forming a perfect circle of Tau, and through both sides, shining your wide open eyes. Thank you. The last poem is in my book. I've got the books with me, so it's like a bonus track.
Thanks, Paul. If anyone has books to sell, feel free to hawk them here. Always bring books. I mean, Blaze used to say always carry books with you because you never know when somebody will ask about one. So, feel free to promote yourself because no one else is going to do it. Diane Pasela, you have a short story called The Wallet. Everyone please welcome Diane.
Hello everyone. This is a bit boring compared to what's been read so far. Anyway, I'll do my best because I've just put something together. Thanks to Les, actually, and all his episodes that he puts up. It just inspires me to get writing because it's been a little while. Okay, so this is a short story. It's called The Wallet, but I'll go to scene 2 because it's the next part of it, so I'll get started. Okay, where am I? Blindfolded and my hands are tied on a chair. I still try to get up and my head is throbbing. It feels like I'm balancing a brick on my shoulders. Am I swaying? It smells weird, like damp wood, old and musty and something else. I know it, but my brain is fighting through fog. Why? I shiver. What is happening? I remember something. The wallet. Hello, I shout as loud as the pain in my head will allow me. I listen. No one. A fright and a shrill plea is forced from my abdomen. Please! This time I hear the sound of approaching steps. Then it stops. I tried to squash the rising panic. Someone is blindfold. It took all of my control not to run off. I blink a few times to adjust to the light and come face to face with it's Timothy Blake, stammering in my shock. You're Timothy Blake from the ID in the wallet. Why have you done this? Timothy looks at me intently. Why did you take the wallet? Anger replaces fear. I didn't take it. I picked it up. I was looking for information to find out who the wallet belongs to. I was about to take it to the police station. Why have you kidnapped me? But you didn't, did you? You were counting the cash and read the letter. You should be thanking me. Thanking you? Whatever for? For knocking me out and taking me goodness knows where? My niggling subconscious warns me to keep cool, but keeping my anger in check isn't going to happen. I demand to be taken back. People be asking where I am. Silence. Now, I shout. I hear a pronounced sigh. Stop with the theatrics, will you? Says a woman's voice behind me. Her heels click-clack as she approaches us. Sin, this woman is not involved. Sin, Cynthia, the note in the wallet was written by you. You're quite the detective, aren't you? Cynthia turns to Timothy. They embrace and kiss on the mouth. Sorry to interrupt, but I need to get back. I don't want to get involved in whatever is going on here. You're already involved. Cynthia pulls out her phone from her pocket and after a short scroll, unmutes it and points it towards me. The bizarre incident took place at 1 p.m. today in a normally quiet Paran business district. A witness claims they saw a stationary black polished Cadillac parked opposite office buildings in full view of anyone who happened to be watching from the windows. The witness couldn't say it arrived as the witness was standing at the window while taking a phone call. No one emerged from the car. The witness said what was more unusual, a woman was casually walking while talking on her phone, coming to a standstill on the path, and appeared to have come across what looked like a wallet. She was intently looking through it, seemingly oblivious to the car across the road. You can see she was counting notes and reading something she found in the wallet. Then suddenly, a tall guy emerges from the car holding a bouquet of flowers. He looked like he had just stepped out from the front cover of a celebrity magazine. Okay, I'll stop there.
Thanks, Diane. So Diane's the author of 3 beautiful children's books, and she's been a contributor to multiple anthologies. What are you working on now as your big project, Diane?
I'm wanting to, this character that I had in this short story, I've written some stories about her
Okay.
over the years. So I'm thinking that I'll, string it together.
All right, sounds cool.
I was asking the ladies earlier about, a novella or novel, so I'll just see how I go with
Well,
it.
there's collections of short stories which are about a singular character that carry through. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a novel that has that continuity. All right, next, Tess. You don't want to read? Okay. David.
Yes,
Would you like to read?
I would.
So everyone please welcome David, who's reading his novel Eternal Symphonies.
This very well may be interesting because I've just realised I've forgotten my glasses. All right. You okay? Yeah, just reminiscing. It was so unexpected. Julian looked at Andrea with both intrigue and concern. Talk to me. Andrea sighed before continuing. 18 years ago, on the night of our 20th, after one of their gigs at Sophia's in the Fantasia district, it was belting down rain. And there was an unnatural lightning storm citywide. I remember that night, Julian replied. It was crazy. It came out of nowhere. Ems and I were gazing up at the stars over by the cove. Sorry. It's okay, Andrea said with a warm smile. As my family exited the venue, the skies turned charcoal and there was a loud clap of thunder, followed by several quacks of multicoloured lightning amidst the downpour. And before anyone knew what was happening, shadowy figures emerged from an alleyway and abducted the lot of them. It was as if they were carried off by moonlit shadows, and I was left stranded in the rain. I don't remember seeing any faces or the particulars of that night. I'm sure they'll come to me at some point. All I remember is seeing shadows and very vaguely 7 plague masks that resembled birds. Julian listened on as the cogs in his head started turning in an effort to help Andrea identify them, even though he knew at the time it was a fruitless endeavour. Anyway, having spent the night enveloped in a mixture of anxiety and heartbreak, finally finding a place to rest in Vivaldi Court under the maple tree, the next morning I caught the train back to Sonata and went to the police station. I told Roland, who had just made detective inspector, what had happened. He made a case of it, but it was never solved, not through lack of trying, mind, but the case went cold due to nothing but circumstantial evidence at best. Tears started to roll down Julian's cheeks as everything suddenly fell into place, not only with the context of the current case, but also because of their personal history up until that point. All that time must have been torture. If Ems and I had only known. Andrea gave a weak smile, thanking him for looking out for her. It's okay, Jules. I didn't tell you because at the time, Julian nodded. I get it. In fact, I'm in no place to judge. Look, if you don't feel like taking the case, Andy, we'll let Roland know it's sunup, yeah? As they reached the apartment complex, the door opened and Julian called for the elevator to the top floor, while looking at Andrea, who was sighing with relief at the prospect of getting some sleep. They rode the elevator up and entered their apartment. Julian placed the case notes on the table. Jules, speaking of, we could go see your sister. I'm sure her programming and security skill sets could help mitigate the potential panic the Coda Cornet's going to play a part in, Andrea said, heading to the bathroom to brush her teeth. Good point. She was a big help to Roland when we were training, and I just hope that whatever she does doesn't land her in hot water. Fair enough. Okay, we'll go see her first thing tomorrow morning. Night, Jules. Night, Andy, Julian replied, hopping into his bed, which was nestled between 2 tree trunks, Andrea flying up to the aviary, perching herself and getting comfortable before shutting her eyes. That's it. Thank Christ. And in 4 months I've finished 1 chapter.
Cool. Well,
Yes. My God.
well, feel free to hit Bo later with your glasses. But I mean, it's a good lesson for anyone writing. Well, writing's about perseverance. It's not a short game in whatever way you attack it, whether it's the writing or the reading or anything like that. Bo, why don't you come up and you're singing a song called Haunt?
I love songs. Not when I sing them, though.
Okay, so you're not singing? So Bo is going to read from his short story called Haunt. By the way, as Bo comes up, just please be mindful of any glasses that you leave by the foot of your chair. We have Oscar traipsing around here, so he's walking barefoot, so Just please be careful with your glasses. You can keep going. I'm just filling time until you walk up.
Oh, okay.
Everyone, please welcome Bo.
I didn't want to interrupt. Hello, everyone. I was hoping to have something else ready tonight, but it is not ready. So, this is a story that I wrote a couple of years ago, and I'm currently in an on-again process of revising it. So, apologies if it's still a bit flabby in parts. But it is called Haunt. The shed has been overtaken by vine and bramble. The door has come off its hinges, propped up to rest against the frame. The whole dwelling might as well sprouted from the earth long ago, spat out and left to rot. "What's living in there?" Avi asks, his head hunched. "Just come on," Lascelles goads, tugging him along. They pick through the growth, and Lascelles slides the door aside. There's a track in the dirt from her moving this door back and forth multiple times. The smell inside clogs Avi's throat. Lascelles isn't bothered and beckons him in. The shed is mostly empty, although, judging by the droppings on the floor, the rats own it. Chairs are piled in the corners, save for one that's been propped up and dusted off. A workbench, scored with a lifetime's labour, has collapsed at the legs. Rusty hooks still jut out from the table, longing for tools. There's a large locked cupboard, metal framed but wooden exterior, shallow but wide, that nearly occupies one full wall. Lascelles branches a brown key and unlocks the cupboard with some frustrated jig. Lascelles points out many of the smaller shards, detailing their original locations. Under a log near town, washed up along the riverbank, pinched from a market stall. Avi stops her with a hand gesture. You're saying it's mana, right? But how do we know it's mana and not just like regular stones? That's easy, you just listen to them. Haven't you ever heard a crafter talk about mana? The old school crafters? She snags the grey cluster and cups it in Avi's hands, gripping his wrists tight. Avi cares more about the warmth of her touch than the cool indifference of the crystal. But he does feel a whisper without words. It speaks around him rather than at him, but he has no aptitude for actually hearing the words. He looks at Lascelles, who's squinting at him. "They're lonely," she says with insistence, begging for understanding. Avi does. No, wait, don't say it," she snaps. "It's not that bad. It's not those voices. It's not going to make me burn things down. But it's the bad voices. You're supposed to..." He struggles for the words. "Supposed to what?" "They just want to talk. They've been quiet for so long." Lascelles snatches the shard back, her disappointment in Avi sharpening her scale. "I found some of these here all alone. They were supposed to be shaped, but the crafter obviously went away. That was a long time ago. I know that if I take them back to town, they'll just be given to someone who doesn't care, or just hammer them into some supposedly magic necklace or something. This crafter cared." "I never heard about a crafter working here," says Avi, thumbing the shattered wood of the workbench. He flinches when he catches a splinter. "They don't know how long ago. They can't tell time," Lascelles says, as if it's obvious. Avi, when's the last time she said his name? It dances off her tongue. "Please, I wanted to show this to someone. I thought you'd understand." "You thought I'd hear it too?" "Yeah. I don't hear it. Not like you." He grabs a small shard and waves it in front of her face. Maybe your ancestor was the crafter. Maybe you're the crafter and you're just masking it. Maybe you're the crafter and you never age, Lascelles. Yeah, I forgot because the man has stole my memories. They're going to eat your feelings next too. Please, I wish they would. They both wheeze a little by way of laughter, the tension broken. The wind picks up outside, whistling through seams between the wooden planks. Lascelles places the mana shards back into the cupboard, closes it by propping her shoulder against the door while turning the key, and wraps herself around Avi's shoulder. I'll stop there.
Let me guess, Bo, in revision, that metal frame wooden bed's just going to become a bed.
I don't know what it's going to become, but...
After the next person I call, I'm going to actually do the raffle. So when you came in, you would have been given a raffle ticket, and the prize prize tonight is this Alice in Wonderland. What do you call it, Kev? We don't know. Yeah, it's a book box. So, and there's stuff that so when you open it up, so you can put all your treasures in there. Oh, well, that impressed them more than us talking about it. And you also get this pencil in case somebody tries to steal it. You can stab them. And is it a bookmark? Okay. Yep. So please get your raffle tickets ready. I'm going to call another Busybird. Or no, someone's waving their hand. The bathroom is just there. No.
Excuse me, Les. I'm a very last-minute entrant.
Yep.
Can I give you my raffle ticket?
Oh, I was going to call it.
Asked to read.
I was going to call it after this act, so that was like a little bit embarrassing. Yeah, okay. Cool. Now give me the raffle ticket.
Don't pull that one out.
And your name is?
Olivia.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, cool. How shitty would you feel if she won, coming in late?
Oh, and I'm named after an injured cormorant in a rare book in the State Library of Victoria. There's a couple of travellers going around the Gilbert and Lease Islands. They decided to write about their travels.
Oh, cool.
Aboard an injured cormorant. I thought I'd be some fabulous character that my dad named me after, but just in the middle of the book somewhere, the cormorant's called Olivia. So there you go. There's just a silly side note.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Tess, what were you named after? We'll just go for everyone.
Actually,
No. I was kidding. Oh, do you have a good one?
I'll tell you later.
All right, cool. So I was going to call another Busybird author, Jake. Oh, so you heard me that time. Jake famously snubbed me earlier today.
It was in my own head. That's why.
Okay, everyone, please welcome Jake.
Now, this is called A Wave of Depression. Heads up, this is going to be a bit of a... Alright. A smooth sailing on a raft, with the sun shining in the sky, and with everything that you craft, you can't help but feel satisfied. As the waves flow with a gentle touch, as you see nothing could go wrong. But as you gaze to the sky, as such, the sun sets for the night that may last long. The gentle touch soon became rough. A stormy wind suddenly erupts, the smooth sailing turning tough. The happy life soon interrupts. The fault partly for lack of prepare, but some come from those corrupt, staying on the raft and not fall to despair, stopping those who could disrupt. But as the days go by at night, wondering if the sun will ever rise, yet it doesn't seem to be in sight. As a wave comes for your demise, all you can do is take it, be engulfed in depression, and come out the other side to submit to another wave of depression. Sometime the sea smooths, but turns again with another wave. Forgetting the happy days of your youth, no hope left but to drift and be enslaved to the waves of depression. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Jake. I'd just like to announce after I call the raffle, night's over. I'm just not up to doing this anymore. Thanks, Jake. Thank you. Well done, Jake. So I'm going to call the raffle. People usually win if they're sitting next to Richard Trembath. And I think you see he's checking with Paul to see what he has. But you never actually win, do you, Richard?
I did
Once.
I won one of your books.
Ah, well, you got the best prize. How can you top that? Security. So it's yellow. $80. 80. Natasha, you won. So come up shyly and take your prize. Thank you. No, the pen's mine. Oh my God, give her a little bit. Give her an inch. Steve, you got an update for us. Everyone please welcome Steve.
Well, firstly, as a devout Christian, I just wanted to say how disappointed I was that the rapture didn't come off. It was planned. I was sort of hoping God would have come down and ripped away all the zealots that give us grief. But that didn't happen, so we're stuck with them, I'm afraid. So I want to talk a bit about my movements. Not my bowel movements, although that could easily take up 4 or 5 minutes. Some people have irritable bowels. My bowels are, just pissed off all the time. So, a lot of you know, although while I'm waiting to be a successful best-selling author and sell my movie rights, I actually earn my money as a civil engineer. So it's a civil engineer as opposed to a hostile engineer. Engineering joke. And the area I work in is in the water industry, specialising in sewerage. So that doesn't mean I specialise in shit. I actually specialise in the movement of shit and the planning of movement of shit. But I'm taking a bit of leave, just a week and a half. So I finished work on Tuesday, and I go back to till about the 27th. And my boss came up to me and wanted to make sure I tied up all my loose ends. And I thought, well, that's a bit of a personal question. Why is he asking that? So I tied off my loose ends about 20 years ago. But nevertheless. So what I'm planning to do, there's this book, actually, Pope Dreams, Pope Peter the Improbable, available on Amazon and at my website, stephendaggerter.au. Was actually released in 2022.
I think it'll be
22, no, it's 22, yes. But it hasn't been officially launched. And it will be officially launched on the 15th of November, here at 2 p.m. So be here. But in the interim...
Unless there's a rapture.
Unless there's a rapture. No, I don't expect to be taken by the rapture. I expect all the people who don't like this to be taken away by the rapture and leaving all the people who love it.
It's probably going to wipe out half the attendees.
So, but there are a few people that love it, some of whom are in this room, who are anxious to see what happens. I've been promising a sequel for 3 years. So one thing I'm doing over the next week and a half is locking myself away at a beach house in Ocean Grove. Luckily, graciously provided by some friends to write the sequel. So from problem solving as an engineer and trying to work out, well, how much salt is getting into the Williamstown sewer and how much rainfall is getting into the Carlton sewer, my problem solving in the next few weeks will be, how do I get a cardinal to marry the love of his life? And how can a woman who's birthed 6 children prolong her labour so a child isn't born on Christmas Day? So they're the sort of problems I'll be dealing with over the next week and a half.
You can make up anything.
Well, it's got to be credible. That's the whole thing about my book, and that's why I'm not a fan of Dan Brown, who creates these stupid scenarios. It's got to be credible. So that's where I'm at.
It's got to be credible.
Yes. So book launch, be there. Yes.
I'm filming, so I've got to check the dates.
Yes.
I'm actually making the film. So.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So
But
Busybird before that?
No, I think it'll be after.
No, the film's the next 3 months to me. So.
Yep.
But yeah.
Good. Thank you.
So you're taking a week break from your movements? There's medication for that. to say something really clever and it's just totally gone. Simon, you got a story for the love of an old man. Have I read that right? Yeah. Yep, cool. Everyone please welcome Simon.
Thanks, Les. This week I will continue on the novel that I was reading last time, which is about the young chap who's stolen his grandfather's memories set in the future. I will just recap with the last paragraph where I got up to. He's just on his way home after stealing the memories, and he's got them sitting in his pocket. Out the window, the sun above the dirty film of air that clung to the earth. Out the window, the sun sat above the dirty film of air that clung to the earth, and it cast a beautiful golden light. On the shortest days, it was a burnt orange at its brightest, and only on the longer days did it venture high enough to shine a whitish light, and that only lasted until the first of the bushfires tarred the earth and feathered the sky. As he absently toyed with his precious acquisition, he felt eyes on him, and a tingle much like the one he had when Lily had scanned him. There was a sharp jolt from a mag rail join, and in the rear view screen he noticed that a black vehicle rode at an unusual distance behind him, or wouldn't match it. Did Liv at all warn Lily? He couldn't go into driving mode and expect to outrun them. He'd have to lose them in traffic, if he went manual. It must be Liv at all. That gear was worth a mint. He approached the eastern edge of the valley. What if... That should be... How do you say italics? There's thoughts in here that I'm reading, so it's a little confusing, I must admit. What if, he thought. He switched into driving mode and the wheels dropped to the road surface with a screech and a bump. The road texture immediately vibrated his body and rattled the discs in his pocket. He increased the throttle and took the exit towards the bridge. They followed. Jay raced towards the intersection. He looked up and down Pascovale Road for a gap in traffic. It would be tight. He checked the mirror. Got about a furlong now. He coasted as he approached the road, and with no brake he turned the controller sharp right, then hit the throttle. Rear wheel spun. The back slipped out left, and as it did, he turned the controller sharp left. I'm drifting, he thought. A trumpet, a bugle and a bassoon bellowed from their carriages and headed north. And he headed north, wedged in traffic. He tailed the carriage in front, went left to stay on the west side of the creek and out of traffic. He took another left past a cluster of houses, a right around an orchard, another right, and spotted some bushes by the edge of the creek. He killed the engine and coasted, off the road, bumping and jolting towards the line of trees that marked the bank. Wood splintered, metal parts crunched, and glass shattered. The 4-point harness hammered Jay across the chest. Stale compressed air punched him in the face. His head whip lashed, and his arms and legs flung out into the dash, but he didn't bump his head. The carriage pivoted almost to vertical, and he felt as if it would continue over. For a moment it was stationary, and he noticed in the cracked mirror another pod sail through the turquoise sky. She was something. Trees formed sheer walls on either side. He was in a crevasse, dangling from a rope with a harness gripping him. Several faces peered from above and called out to him frantically, "Sam, Sam!" I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Simon. So a hint for that question you asked, how do I say this in italics? Sometimes when you do readings, you have to actually just change what it is, what it says, as opposed to what people read. So just to actually signpost what's going on. So times when I read, I actually look at that and go, that's not going to work aloud, so I actually rewrite that. Anyway, thank you. Yeah. Kylie, you're going to come up and read some poetry.
Yeah, from a book you just gave me. No.
Well, she'd be really happy about that. Everyone, please welcome Kylie.
Hi everyone. It's been a while. I've been so flat out. I haven't written anything new, so I'm going to read some stuff from my recently launched book. This one's called You Had to Know. Perhaps you didn't mean it when you stole my trust from me, but you had to know it hurt. Shifting blame made me feel guilty. Your hands said more than mouths could ever say without a sound. Grabbed me like a butcher does a carcass. With little force, you held me down. Through teary eyes, I looked up at you, your demented, twisted face. It looked as though your pleasure came devoid of all disgrace. As I cried, you moaned. I kicked in vain and hit your grotesque head. I tried to summon up a demon, pleaded for death to meet me in that bed. And though you never struck me, I wish to hell you did. For at least I'd have felt something other than your sick lust and dark hatred. Worse still, the times I woke to find my choice taken away. Any ounce of pride or power stolen. Guess I never had any anyway. Never once did you apologize. Instead, you had the bloody nerve to make me feel it was all my fault, that this abuse was what I deserved. Now it's over, at least for you, though in my heart I still feel lost. I wonder if the prize you won was worth my lifelong cost. Left loaded with this damage, desperately wishing it wasn't so. My rage still questions why you did it. I'm sure you had to know. This one's nice, huh? This one's called Ode to a New Year. Don't make empty promises you don't intend to keep. Your word is bond. It is your honor. It is you. Words cannot be retracted, so think before you speak. Don't be a gossip. Don't be deceitful. Please, just be true. Ensure your thoughts are ever positive and dare to have a dream. Your thoughts manifest the things you hold and touch and feel. Forget self-imposed limitations. Reality is just what our minds accept as possible and as real. Accept victory with humility and your losses just the same. To lose is not to fail, it is to live, more so to learn. Sometimes lessons come to us through our struggles and our pain. Our strength resolved, our will iron forged, respect is earned. Forgive your sins and those of others, even though you'll not forget. Live in the present, not the future, and never in the past. Love your lovers, hold your children. What you give is what you get. Remember, life is brief and passes so very fast. Savor every precious moment. Be slow to anger and quick to smile. Chase your passions, not possessions, you already have enough. Treasure friendships and growing older, conscious all the while that it's not wealth we give and take away with us. All we truly have is love.
There you go. Jeff told me it's your birthday today.
It is my birthday today.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kylie. Happy birthday to you.
That was Thank you. That's what I thought you were going to do.
Oh, no, I didn't know. I wish we knew we would have got a cake.
Cake? It's cake.
Well, we've got a new cake.
Oh.
We do have a 2.5-year-old donut.
Okay. Can't wait.
Oh, it's just sitting there, so we're happy to break it out. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And you're spending it with us.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Olivia, would you like to fly up here like a cormorant? And everyone, please welcome Olivia.
Thank you. This is one I wrote at the dog park today in the sun. It was beautiful. Okay. I forgot how to write poetry all year. Just one line of puns, keeping us within a 5-kilometre radius. Is it too early for jigsaw jokes? My son weeps at 3:15 p.m. each day, a sad school bell, hollow bounce of tennis ball against our lonely shed wall. I don't see his eyes, but I know the COVID guy intimately, and I wonder what we are over Zoom. I mean, I see your body wall and her unstable heels. Now this tally today again, and finding that we're all alone on screens. As a family, the hall smells like Dettol and unused oxygen. I find an elusive jigsaw piece I don't know if I care about, a lavender field in Provence or putting the blue sky back together. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Ruja, you've been sitting there patiently. I wasn't calling you up, I was just making an observation. All right, everyone please welcome Ruja.
Hi. In 2010, on my mother's 19th anniversary of her death, I was on the way to her grave, and it just felt. I got the feelings back sitting in a hearse and going the day we buried her, and when I got home I wrote this for her. My memory. Today, on the way to visit your grave, memories of you kept coming, Mama, beautiful and brave. I remember sitting in a car, following the hearse, thinking, begging, please driver, slow down. Don't drive so fast. I don't want my Mama going into the ground, even though she must. With the wind gone are the last 19 years, time has mellowed pain and dried away the tears. You were going, that you knew. You looked at the doctor and said, no chemo, I'm not afraid, but please, no pain, my decision is made. I still miss your gentle touch and cheating at playing cards. Your cheek is, she always won, because she always seemed to have an extra ace. Your cheeky smile and quick step, you were loved so very much. During summer picnics, you had lots of fun, spraying others with water, then fast away you'd run. I'm so grateful you did not suffer long, but went quickly to heaven, where all angels belong. To help you live, I had to make you believe, from us here, to your Mama and Father, your 2 sons and others, you'd cross over to, my dear. I knew she was going very soon. She was actually my patient where I worked. I'm a retired nurse. And I said to her, Mum, are you afraid? And she said, well, I'm not really, but I'm a little bit confused what's over there. And I said, well, from here, you go over and your parents and your 2 sons and all other loved ones are waiting for you. And she looked at me and I thought, well, and she said, and you really believe that? And she brought us as Catholics. So, and I had to lie. And I said, of course, Mum, I believe. As if in a doubt, you asked, do you really believe this? With all my heart, Mama, you can do it with ease. You looked at us, your daughters and grandchildren too. You touched my face and with a smile whispered your last words, my beautiful doves. You closed your eyes and went to that heavenly place. I thought perhaps I should put my thoughts to paper so that our memories of you go on and grow forever greater. So there we go. We talk about my mother 34 years later. So that's the written word. Thank you.
So do you actually believe that when people pass away?
I have a very different. I don't believe the church. I'm sorry for people who do, but I do have my beliefs that there is a beautiful place somewhere, and all the goodness that I put in there through my life is waiting for me.
That's a beautiful thought. What about you, Steve? You're religious. What's waiting us? Is it fire and brimstone?
It is the same for all of us.
For all of us?
Yes. This is true. I believe we'll return to the universe. We come on with the universe again.
Cool. Oh, okay. Getting consensus. If I first, I'm going to come back and tell you you're all wrong.
Well, we don't know until anyone tells you they know. Is lying.
That's why I'm coming back afterward to tell you. Or I'll email.
Well, you can read Death, Dying and Beyond because it's in there.
There you go. So Michelle's a medium and she's written about it, so you can learn about the beyond. Who am I going to pick? So as far as I'm aware, I have 4 readers left. Is anyone didn't get to put their name down? Like you, Jules? Wow, that's a very vigorous shake of the head. Jeff, is your surname Ball? It's pretty cool. You know, Macedonian ball. The word for ball is topka. I'm Macedonian, so the word for ball is topka. Yeah. So everyone, please welcome Jeff Topka.
Be my nom de plume. Last time I read, I was away last month, but last time I read, we met old Hamish, who was grumbling about sitting on the cold, damp midwinter sand of Selkie Beach. When Hamish had been widowed and subsequently retired to French Island, it had been his intention to stop work and just fish. But within 3 months, he'd slumped. Maybe depression would have sucked him down anyway, but Hamish was inclined to believe he'd been kicked into the pit by the tragic death of a child. Sitting in the damp sand at Selkie Beach, he was reminded of that day. Was it 3.5 years ago? And on this beach. It had been midsummer. The slack surface of the deep channel had contained the whole sky, some wispy clouds, the oppressive midday sun, and the sad face of an old man. The sun slid slowly forward and back along the sluggish waves. The swell of the distant ocean was tempered by the large island located between it and the man's boat. The lift and fall was so slow as to be imperceptible, except for the tug on the fishing line every time the boat lifted. Hamish fished with a hand line. It was good enough for his dad, it was good enough for his grandpa. He liked the connection, the immediacy. But recently, his mind had been elsewhere, adrift. It was low tide, slack water. Nothing was going anywhere. Everything was in between. Hamish wondered if he'd remembered to bait his line. He looked at his sunburnt feet and noticed the nails, overlong, chipped. He remembered a younger man's feet, spattered with fish scales, little strings of blood and gut, happy feet. Purposeful, intentional. Where had those feet gone? The line tugged sharply at his fingers. One distinct bite, then 3 flickers. And his arm muscles were in action. No conscience consideration required. He muttered to himself, "What do you know? I did bait it. Come on now." First, a short, urgent yank to set the hook, then pulling evenly, hand over hand. The line coiled neatly at his clean feet. Nice weight. Good size flatty, I reckon. In that moment he was back, present, involved, active. Then the line unweighted. "Fuck it, damn!" He sat back, as lifeless as his line, as lineless as his life. Wendy had died in October. For their entire 40 years of married life, Hamish had thought himself hooked. But then it occurred to him it was the other way round. Wendy had leapt off his line and his whole life had become weightless. The boat continued to rock gently, an echo of a moment of liveliness. Had he nodded off? When next Hamish looked up, the tide had turned and was running in. The boat had drifted along the channel that separated Elizabeth Island and French Island. Noticing he had not lowered the line to the bottom after the fish unhooked, he swore, then released his grip, let the line run out. Picking up the worn wooden handrail, he started winding it in. He was done. There was a scream. A woman. Where? Elizabeth Island. He saw a woman on the beach, running up and down, calling to someone in the water. He was close enough to make out her distress, but too far to hear what she was calling. A name? Then she plunged into the water. Sitting now on Selkie Beach, the memories were disturbingly physical. He'd dropped the reel and had his hand on the starter, almost without thought, turning the boat back towards the beach. Selkie Beach. He remembered praying, God, don't let it be a child. The official search for Alexander Corrin, aged 4, lasted only 5 days and involved all the local police, park rangers and most of the fishermen. Unofficially, Hamish and a small number of French Island fishermen scoured the western port beaches after every high tide for several months. If something was lost in the bay and it floated and it wasn't eaten by sharks, it normally fetched up on one of the depositing beaches after a high tide. But the boy's body was never recovered. At that time, Alexander's mother, Claire, had only recently inherited Elizabeth Island, but after Alexander's disappearance, she didn't return for several years.
Yeah, I know, I was thinking that.
It's a lot of death tonight, a lot of depression.
Yeah. So little boy's body didn't wash up. What about his foot? Was his foot there? Hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. Ilona? Ilonka, sorry. I can't read either. So, yep, sorry. Last time you were was 15 years ago, so... Yeah. Yeah, we just did this tonight to mess with you. It's like an episode of Severance or something. You're coming here and it's all totally changed. Everyone, please welcome Alonka with her poem.
No, it's not mine. It's not mine. I just sort of find these second-hand books of poetry and I get them, and I was reading them on the way to Bendigo on the train to people who were listening. And then it just sort of reminded me, okay, I'll just read it here as well. But I do have some of my own stuff. But
So did they listen?
yeah.
Cool. All right, cool.
And I'm becoming a married celebrant, so I need all these poems.
Why is anyone celebrating marriage?
Some people do. Some people are lucky. Okay, so it's from the book 100 Great Poems for Girls, edited by Celia Johnson. And this is called Adventures of Isabel by Ogden Nash. Isabel met an enormous bear. Isabel didn't care. The bear was hungry, the bear was ravenous. The bear's big mouth was cruel and cavernous. The bear said, Isabel, glad to meet you. How do, Isabel, now? I'll eat you. Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She washed her hands and she straightened her hair up. Then Isabel quickly ate the bear up. Once in the night, as black as pitch, Isabel met a wicked old witch. The witch's face was cross and wrinkled. The witch's gums with teeth were sprinkled. Ho, ho, Isabel, the old witch crowed. I'll turn you into an ugly toad. Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She showed no rage and she showed no rancour, but she turned the witch into milk and drank her. Isabel met a hideous giant. Isabel continued self-reliant. The giant was hairy, the giant was horrid. He had one eye in the middle of his forehead. Good morning, Isabel, the giant said. I'll grind your bones to make my bread. Isabel didn't worry.
Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She nibbled the zwieback that she always fed off, and when it was gone, she cut the giant's head off. Isabel met a troublesome doctor. He punched and he poked till he really shocked her. The doctor's talk was of coughs and chills, and the doctor's satchel bulged with pills. The doctor said unto Isabel, "Swallow this, it will make you well." Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She took those pills from the pill concoctor, and Isabel calmly cured the doctor.
No, I was looking him up as Ogden Nash, and he was like a really renowned poet for that sort of style, which I don't know much about poetry, so maybe the poets here have heard about him. Oh.
Always in the poetry at school.
Oh, not in the class.
In class, yeah.
No, Ogden himself.
Yeah, I see. Because I mean, that'd be something different if he was in the class.
But yeah, always in our readers, we had Ogden Nash.
Oh, cool. Sandra, you have a song, The Elements plus... What's that say? Well, The Elements... I can't read your writing, Sandra. What are you saying there?
And the lotus.
Sorry, I still didn't hear that. Oh, and the lotus. I was like, do to us, and I was like trying to make sense. So everyone, please welcome Sandra. She's going to sing a song, The Elements and the Lotus.
I made sure. I was going to wear blue, but so this song is written by someone else, by a lady called Miranda, and she's a drum teacher. And I only learnt this song on Saturday, and then I added another verse for something else I had to do. So I thought I'd just share it with you.
Do you want a stool or something to sit on?
No,
Okay,
all good.
We don't have one.
Okay. Thanks anyway. So I learnt that the different parts of the drums are connected to the elements. So in the middle is water, the edge is fire, flat hand is earth, and that's air. So this is the elements and the lotus. Thank you to all the elements for your grace and eminence. As from mud the lotus rise, elements grant me true and wise. Elements grant me true and wise. Water, water, cleanse my mind, bring me peace and grant me kind. Water, water, cleanse my mind, bring me peace and grant me kind. Fire, fire, burning bright, turn my darkness into light. Fire, fire, burning bright, thank you for your sacred light. Earth, oh earth, you nourish me, from your body you feed me. Earth, oh earth, you nourish me, from your body you feed me. Air, oh air, my breath you give, without you we cannot live. Air, oh air, my breath you give, without you we cannot live. Thank you to all the elements for your grace and eminence. As from mud the lotus rise, elements grant me true and wise. Elements grant me true and wise. Elements grant me true and wise. Thank you. I have written some books over there, and I've discovered that basically I've written some books on mindfulness and 3 children's stories, and basically any hobby that anyone chooses to do is mindfulness, because it gets you into the zone, and the zone pretty much calms you down and gets you thinking clearly. So this is a hobby really, but what I've learnt through this hobby is that our voice is actually a healing tool. And so I'm not singing for performance, although it sounds like that here, and this was a little bit out of tune, not my best, but the nerves get to you. But the point is that all of us sort of get up and we speak in front of each other, and that is healing. We're releasing emotions and it makes you feel good, and we're sharing pain and we're sharing laughter and stories and that. So yeah, just grateful to be here and sharing this with you. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sandra, for those really sweet words after 9 readers depressed the hell out of us. Richard, you're the very last reader of the night, unless I've missed someone. Have I missed anyone? Tess! Jules! While I'm waiting for Richard to come up, you know, Richard, I was sort of like just killing time until I saw you stand up. Abby! Is that a yes? No, that's not a yes. All right, cool. Next month, though. That's a yes.
Thank you, Les. And may I say that tonight has been an extraordinary high standard. I've been here a lot of times now, and it's never been any better than it is tonight. Now, Les said earlier in the night that we should be promoting ourselves. Nobody has, so I'll promote 3 of my books, which are probably, but they're all available. My assistant here will yeah.
Delve into the
Now all I've got to do is remember what I was going to do. This is called Love Waits. Leaving? Once you are over the horizon, it matters not. Sight is sight. Touch is touch. Once I can no longer see you or touch you, distance is irrelevant. Love can stretch as far as it needs to. Love goes where you go. Distance does not diminish it. Love remains and waits. Now this is, I haven't ever been quite game to do this here, but we will tonight. Hello, Oscar. This is called The Melting of the Snow. My time draws near and I must go before the waning of the moon or melting of the snow, before all things that I hold dear and finally reduced to rubble, while I am clear of eye and ear and able yet to hear the chorus of the birds at dawn and see the setting of the sun, while yet my stride, though robbed of the bold fluency and strength of youth, does not betray me, while all my being, slowed by time, has not yet reached the line which marks the point of no return, where all my will is lost and dignity no longer marks the man, while memory can yet retain the bold days of my youth and the glories of the journey which brought me to this day, which we all knew would come in time and now is but a few short steps away. The journey has been hard, but in its way rewarding. Of course I have regrets, but sweet recall of days of joys and laughter, gone too soon, but well remembered, both by me and those I loved along the way. There will be but few who may mourn me, for most of those whom I held dear have gone before. But haply I will cross the thoughts of those remaining briefly from time to time, and I can only hope they will recall a man
Thanks, Richard, for bringing the mood back down. Richard was the final reader. It was beautiful, and thank you for the kind words about tonight. So, anyone have any announcements of any note?
Son of a donkey.
That's a bit harsh on me, man. I'm just standing up here trying to do my job.
Actually, Son of a Donkey will be released on Netflix on the 30th of October.
Ah, cool.
And I'm in episode 2, I think.
That's right after the Monster Ed Gein season.
Husband number 2, episode 2. Don't blink, you'll miss me.
All right, cool. That's a good name for a show. Anyone else have any other announcements? All right, so, I mean, Richard, you know, as you said, promote your own stuff. When you come up, we're happy for you to come out and just say, I've got a book out, I'm doing this, I've done this. Be your own champion, you know, push yourself as much as possible. You don't have to go straight away. Feel free to have some drinks and food to chat. Next open mic night is the 19th. The final one for the year is our Christmas one, so it'll be starting like at 6 for dinner, and then it'll be like a bring a plate type thing. And then at 7, it's the actual open mic night. It's thematic. It's dressed like me, right?
Yeah.
Heroes and rock stars, dressed like me. Jeez, that was hard. And everyone, you know, if you haven't mentioned it to Kev yet, you've seen his car. So make sure you, well, don't mention it to me, mention it to him. It's his car. So Busybird car looks like a, you know, this is a gorgeous thing of beauty that's out on the street now. And make sure you mention to Kev how much you appreciate it, because everyone who comes in that door, he says, "Have you seen the car?" Thank you. So everyone, feel free to go grab drinks and refreshments. Thank you for coming. See you next month.